These are two documents I want to show you, and they're called purchase orders. We all know the purpose of purchase orders. When you buy something, you have to go to the purchase order. This particular purchase order is for $19,645. You know what that purchase, you know what the purchase on these purchase orders? So excuse me, and y'all see whose signature is that right there? Sorry?
That would be Dennis.
Donna Henry. That would be Donna Henry. So excuse me, I'm apologizing already if I'm sticking my head in your room making sure this holiday learning is being utilized. Okay, so I'll go ahead and apologize already, because when we pay that much money and her signature is on it, do I need to say any more about the utilization of it? And like I told you before, I've got Ms. Ingram here, and she's going to just quickly talk about the reports. And before I say that, thank you all. I know it's something that we're just using, and thank you all that's already using it. And it's the more you use it, the better you'll get at it. Okay. All right. So Ms. Ingram, we're just going to show you what this thing can do.
And like I said, we've let Ms. Tatum and Ms. Gilbert and them be administrators in it. And if you're an admin of the program, that's when they can go in and pull the reports, because they're also, we're the guinea pigs, remember, so they want to monitor to see how it's working too. But here in my first screen that I come up to, I can see the teacher logins. And if you look here, you can see like how many times like the teachers logged in and so forth. And logins, it doesn't mean how many times you use them, it's just how many times you've logged in. Over here, these are the student engagements. And so this shows me how many times, like I can look and see like how many people are using Scanits, clickers, and so forth like that. Then I can go up here to reports, and these are your PLC data teams, and your department heads are the leaders. So they added you guys in and everything, and here's your different classes that they have, and that's where they go in, and it'll show you the teachers in it and so forth, where you guys add stuff that y'all want to share to, for one another. And then sessions. This is where we go in, and here's the date here, and I can see the activity that was titled. And then when you come all the way down, it'll show you here, like I can see how many questions we had on it. Look at how many reports you have for that activity. So like here, weathering and erosion, I know we had 6 sessions of that going on. And then it shows us the scores. It's really neat, because I know it was Ms. Broxton. I looked at one of hers, and you and Ms. Norris. They taught one, and I looked at the score, and it wasn't real well. The average was like a 50-something. On a Friday, and then I looked back on Monday, they did another one, and the comprehension score gone up to like 89. So you could tell they were reteaching and then going back and reassessing. But when you go through here, I mean, it just shows you all the different activities. Now, let's say you're in, I don't know, let's say photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Here, it gives me a campus average, because there's different teachers in here that used it. Ms. Norris was using it, and Ms. Broxton was using it. And so it'll show, what Ms. Norris's class was, how you can tell, like her 6th period scored an 80 average, and then her 5th period didn't get it. They were at a 61. So it breaks it down for you, and then it even breaks it down where your class is, and you can see these things. It gives you reports and stuff when you click on them. You can go back up and look at your standards. Okay, and I'm seeing it by teacher or by department, but you guys can see it, for yourself. And it'll give you, like here, you can highlight on the first question, the average score was like a 48, here a 45, here a 65. So see, even though, and the only problem with having, like we discussed, if you have 2 questions, the only bad thing, as teachers, we tend to look at things as pass or fail. So if you put 2 questions up there, and the kids that make a 50, well, they failed, they need to remediate, but they really only missed 1 out of 2, so it doesn't really, that's hard. That's why we said anywhere from like 3 to 5 was more, but depending on what elements of the standard you're teaching. If you're teaching 1 element, 2 questions might be sufficient, but if you're teaching 3 or 4 elements, because it's toward the end of the week and you're getting ready for a test, you might can do it in 5, But anyway, it just breaks it down for you. And then it'll give you your item analysis to show you your standard here and so forth, and it'll show you exactly each standard broken down, and then you get your, so you can look and see which standard. Like here, you can tell this group, they totally get one MC5 standard because they're like an 89.75 in one class. But then Miss Narns, hers are at a 54.2. But you see, this was Miss Broxton's honors. So when we go and look, then her biology, Miss Narcissus was a 94 on that standard. So she might need to look at something she did differently, you know, to kind of help the kids get it. And then when you break it down, it gives you your student analysis. You can see their grades and see who's in the red, yellow, and green. And if you wanted to do something with that, you can even export it right here to your CSV. So if you've got that, you can do it by student name, and you can export it into your CSV, and it'll give you your spreadsheet right here if you wanted to use it for something. Depending on, you know, some people are copying and pasting so they can get a whole week's worth side by side, and then keeping it in their grade book, and you can highlight them, do the average, whatever you want to do with it, however tech savvy you are, but this just helps, and then you can arrange them, and what we were saying is you can get here with the score, and then you can just sort after you put them in there. People are using the CSV to do their differentiation. Because after they put them in CSV, they're copying and pasting their grades for the whole week, and then they take it and then they're sorting it from smallest to largest, and then that's how they're doing their groups. You see, and then when they differentiate, they're saying, okay, these 3 or these 6 are going to need individualized help with me. So these is my teacher-centered group and teacher-led group, and we're going to work with them. And then we'll work with these, and then as we get down here to the bottom, these are the ones that we can accelerate. You see what I'm saying? So just use your CSV. Some teachers are using it, but it really, really helps you when you guys do your differentiation. Because like I said, they'll give you the averages, and then you can just, it breaks it up for you. So, yeah, that's good. But anyway, then you can get your subgroups as well. Okay, that's really it.
All right. So, any questions? Ms. Ingram is the resident expert, as y'all can see. So all I'm doing is sticking in my head in there, and I can help you a little bit. But if you got some real deep questions, she's a resident expert. Even though I am playing with it, so that I can get to the point where I can help you if you have any questions. So any questions about the direction we're going in?
Not with the direction, but did they ever get the plugin they worked out
What plugin?
with Arlene as far as with the ladybug? I tried to scan some things yesterday and it went through that plugin issue again. You needed it's something else you need, you know.
You have to close. If you got something else open.
Have you enabled plugins at the top? Because when you go to do your plugin, first thing that's going to come up is in the top right corner, you're going to get this little document picture that's going to have a red X. You got to highlight over that and click Allow Plugins, and you got to always allow. And then you need to make sure you shut down your computer. All right, we got to shut down because Charles, what's happening is Charles Allen, we have these little extensions of Chrome, which are like phone numbers and branches. And these kids, that's how they're bypassing the filters. They've got their own created extensions. So he's constantly having to go through Chrome and block extensions. Now he has allowed the all-in learning extension, but when he's running updates every day, if you haven't shut down your computer, then when you come in the next day, that extension of Chrome that runs this program is going to be blocked. So that's why it's important we got to shut them down every single day, or when you come in, it's going to block you out.
And this is old. This is something we started doing in the old building. Remember saying shut down all your computers every day?
Yeah, please
because
shut them down.
They run updates every night. So if you don't shut your computers down, then you won't get the updates. So just make sure you shut your computers down. So any other questions on all right. Just real quick reminders about subs. You know, we call subs, and make sure if you don't already have one, make sure you have a department distribution plan, because things happen sometimes, so we need to have a department distribution plan. So department chairs, y'all, please start working on that. Can you put CCRPI report? All right. Hit controls. All right, if I hit control plus, make it a little bit larger. this is our CCRPI report for 2017. We went down a little bit in our overall score. We were 75 point something. We dropped to 72. These are the different elements that these scores are this is where the overall score comes from these different elements. Hit achievement tab. All right, achievement is basically your milestone stuff, and also the graduation rate. Keep going. And these things here, the different indicators, percentage of graduates, do CTA pathway, and all that kind of stuff. So that's where your achievement score comes from. Now, this thing will change a little bit. Some of this stuff is going away, but that's where your achievement scores come from. All right, on your performance indicators, right here, your performance indicators, it tells you what percentage of students and how they did. So you can see 9th grade lit, 55% got it. So, you know, of course, we're about half, you know, and that's why I was telling you that our honors and AP kids are consistently doing what they need to. It's our economically disadvantaged kids that's in our classes that's not achieving what we would like them. So if you see here it's 50%, which one is this? American Lit is 50, Algebra 1 is 29, this is our performance percentages. Geometry is 49, and I have a comparison sheet so we can see how we did from one year to the next. Physical science is 47, thank you. Biology is 36, and U.S. history is 50, and economics is 40%. All right, so that's where, you know, this is what they want you to do, of course, get 100. This is our performance percentages. This is our possible points, and these are how many points we receive. So it's 3.66, we'll get 3 points. All right, and then that's our total points out of 80. All right, we got 35.9 out of 80, and so all that calculates into your achievement score. All right, I go back up, please. All right, then your progress. You have a progress score. You can get that for me, please. And that just tells you, you know, in these areas, how you're progressing. And then your achievement gap is how well you're closing the achievement gap. And then this is your economically disadvantaged students. We don't have enough language, English learners to get a score, but economically disadvantaged and our students with disability. Click on that. Yes, ma'am. All right. So you have the economically disadvantaged. Maximum points is 10. We got 1.5. This right here, when I put it up in comparison, you'll see that we dropped. We were 4.4 in this last year, and we dropped to 1.5. And then you have your performance flags. Then you have your student climate. Click on the student climate. As a matter of fact, we're going to start when we come back. I'm going to feed y'all turkey today. I'm going to let y'all do y'all kind of surveys today. Y'all eat your turkey. But we have a survey now. We on parent night, we did the parent responses. And as you can see, this is last year. But here are our student response percentages. Here are our teacher and staff response percentages. And here are our parents' response percentages. So as you can see, our parents, those questions feel a little bit better about what we're doing than our teachers and our students. And then here's our survey score. All right, and then what you do is you get stars. Down. We had a 3-star, which put us at a score of 79.9. Our objective is to get to the 4 and the 5-star, which is something we can do. In that, come back down a little bit. in that is stuff that we're working on as far as, discipline things that we do and discipline things that we do with suspensions. All of that stuff goes into your school climate rate, okay? Any questions on how the scores are, I've got a comparison chart. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. You gotta make that one. Yeah. All right, this is kind of the comparison. Let me see, where's the best place to stand? Where's the best place to stand? Over here?
Over there.
Over here?
No, over there.
Over there? Okay. Wow, that's so funny. What's the word? All right, here's our comparison chart. You can see milestones started in 2015. So our achievement points went up a little bit. It's always good to go up and down. It ain't much, but it's always good to go up and down. Progress points went down. Our gap points went down a little bit. As you can see, our students with disability really went down. So that, students with disability and economically disadvantaged, that's what we talk about. That other 50% falls into that, and our students with disabilities. So we got to still keep working at that. And then, of course, exceeding the bar went up. And then the reason why this is in red and this is in red, because when you talk about a school, they go on different lists, they don't count exceeding the bar and challenge points. So they just calculate these three to determine if you go on some kind of list. So we're not on a list, thank goodness. So that's the comparison of the milestones, and this is one of the reasons why we do what we do. Are we emphasizing milestones? Yes, we are, but that don't mean I'm de-emphasizing your other classes. So, we're just emphasizing milestone because that's our report card. That's our report card to the state. When we talk about formatively assessing, we talk about everybody in every class. So we're not, just because we're emphasizing this, that don't mean that we're de-emphasizing another class, if that's such a word. All right. All right, halt time, I apologize, I sent you some word, yeah. There you go. I sent out one of the same documents some kind of way. I don't know what I was doing, but confusing everybody. So I had to go back and readjust. But we got our halt time, which is our extended learning time, and we go back to specific days because we look at our all-in learning data. And then this is how we form our halt time groups. So when we come around on these days, we expect to see some type of differentiated instruction going on based on what your all-in learning data tells you. And then we're still in our literacy initiative. Scroll down, please. Which I put it all on one page. Keep going, please. And these are our literacy initiative days. Again, it's not changing what you're doing, it's just implementing a reading strategy into what you're doing. It's not changing. So if you got photosynthesis planned for that day, I've been looking at photosynthesis all week, that's why it's kind of in my brain. But if you got that plan that day, that don't mean you change it. That means when you're doing your planning on Friday, you're doing your collaborative planning on Friday, you do a reading strategy in there. That's all that means. It doesn't mean you change or have to add something else, because our literacy initiative is still haven't went anywhere. All right, any questions about the expectations of these? Everybody's clear? Okay. Talk about subs, alt time. Oh, thank you all. The different departments worked on a student improvement plan. I appreciate your work and your efforts. And it kind of fell right into what we were doing. So I do appreciate y'all reconfirming and recommitting to the direction that we're trying to take this school. And we all remember our #1 goal is student achievement. It's a real simple formula. If teaching